EA is a name that strikes fear into the wallet of gamers everywhere. I still remember all those years ago when they were voted I
uh,
think it was the most hated company in America, or it might have just been point blank worst company in America. Which, they're no saints over there at the EA office, but
oh, what's the wait? What's the question mark for about about Saudi Arabia being married to the U.S.? Wait, chat. Just so we're all on the same page. You guys, chat. You guys do know that Saudi Arabia and the United States are like really good friends, right? And that they're kind of like working with each other a lot. Like, they're like this. We know that. Yeah. Okay. Okay.
I definitely think there are worse companies, but it just goes to show you the pure disdain people have for EA and their practices. They have not been well liked for a very long time. But you know who does like them? The Saudi Arabian government. They like them so much that they are buying EA for $55 billion.
By the way, that $55 billion is that is a premium. They paid a premium for that.
Now, it's not just the Saudi Arabia Public Investment Fund that's buying them all on their own.
So what people also need to realize is that it's part of this when I say that it's not only a game developer thing, this is also a like political thing. This is part of a broader political strategy from Saudi Arabia. Um, yeah, I don't know why my mic is all of a sudden going really quiet. I don't I'm cranking the volume again, but I don't know what I did that caused it to do this. Hello? Test, 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 test. Yeah, no, I don't know, dude. I don't fuck with my wait. Is it because of this? Hello, 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 hello. No, it like all of a sudden randomly got quiet. Um. Anyways, so a couple things. Did you hit the cable? Maybe. I don't know. It's gonna randomly go loud here, but I've cranked it up on the. I don't know. Does it sound good now? Um. Okay. So to be clear, this is part of Saudi Arabia's like broader strategy. Okay, they are trying to. If you guys remember the Wall and like Neom and all those projects, it's actually bundled in with a lot of those projects as well. I think it's by 2030 they have a certain amount of billions that they're trying to invest specifically in video games and technology. They want to be like they also want to create like new hubs for talent to go and work um in Saudi Arabia. So this is part of like Saudi Arabia's strategy. Like literal like foreign policy strategy.
Outright,
Hence why it's the Saudi Arabia's public investment fund.
they've actually got a whole Royal Rumble.
And the long story short of what the Saudis are trying to do is they are trying to turn we are an oil nation into we are a like modern technology and infrastructure nation. They're basically, they're vying to become a world power. They want to be probably like if I'm the Saudis, what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to turn my oil into a regional hegemony within the Middle East is what they're trying to do.
Going halvesies with.
And again, don't get mad at me. Don't be like, I hate this. How could Blau say that? No, I'm not. I am not endorsing. This is why I hate talking politics. Remember, chat, when I am talking politics, I seek to describe and what I am observing happen and why I think those actors are doing it. Don't come after me. I'm giving you guys what I think they are trying to do and why. I think Saudi Arabia wants to establish a regional hegemony in the Middle East. I think they want to move from just being an oil country to having technologies, infrastructure, and possibly even be cultural leaders. I mean, this is why they have this weird tension and clash between like hyper traditional Muslim culture and then trying to let in like Westerners into some of their cities that have like this way like ultra liberal progressive culture, and they've been struggling with that clash too. Anyways,
with them, so they've got fucking superstars like Silver.
where are people getting mad at you for this? This is the first dude. Danny Vespucci, I am on eggshells when it comes to politics. The long story short of it, chat, is I find that whenever talking politics, unless I just completely grift to one side or the other, everyone just says that I'm a fence sitter, or everyone from one side says that I'm grifting towards. Basically, unless I full commit to a grift to one side, both sides will think I'm grifting for the other side. There you go.
Blake and Jared Kushner's affinity partners doing this deal with them. So they've got like the superstars of slime here that are forking up 55 billion clams to own EA. EA was.
So here's the thing. I think Charlie is going to see this and think it's bad. I think a lot of gamers are going to see this and think it's bad. I think it's good. I'm sorry. What has EA been doing? Like, you know what I mean? Like, this is probably good for EA.
Is a publicly traded company, but obviously with this will no longer be. They're taking it private. Now there is one other name here that's very important to this deal. JP Morgan. Because you see, Darman fam, $20 billion of debt is being committed by JP Morgan for this deal, $18 billion of which is expected to be funded at close. Now what does this mean for you, someone who might just be excited for Battlefield coming out? Well, 20 billion is a big number. If you converted that to pounds, it's nearly as heavy as your mother, bitch. Point is, nice. $20 billion is what EA is now responsible to pay back.
And here's how I think they're going to do it. I think they are going to immediately cut a ton. So this is the reality of it. And when I say good, I mean like it's probably like good for like maybe like I think EA would have had a slow bleed if this didn't happen. This isn't like, so here's what's going to happen. EA is going to cut a fuck ton of jobs. I think I read somewhere it was somewhere between like 300 to 500 million in like operating costs that they're trying to cut. So they're going to extremely cut jobs. I imagine they might just fully cut all of the creative studios that aren't their sports studios. They might just cut everything and then just double down on sports, which are the only thing that's actually been. You have to understand, BioWare's Dragon Age horribly underperformed. Like BioWare has been underperforming. Apex Legends has been underperforming. Like a lot of these. What is going on with my mic? Sure that what setting is causing this? I don't know. Anyways, Love or hate EA, letting one of the few massive American companies that actually create something the world buys becoming foreign owned sucks. Maybe. I don't know. It's one of those where I'm like, I don't know.
Debt. And what are the ways that you can look to try and squeeze some more juice from the lemons here? More microtransactions, something EA is very famous for. Another strategy EA might employ is layoffs. Again, something they're not a stranger to. And I predict, as well as I've seen other people also make this prediction, you know, I'm not fucking Baba Vanga over here with some kind of galaxy brain speculative theory. I would imagine they're going to start closing studios like BioWare. Yep. I think BioWare is going to be their big one. Their games have not been performing well financially for EA for a while. Anthem, into Dragon Age, the Veilguard, they're not crushing it.
Oh my god, I forgot that Anthem existed.
In their sales numbers, and they're a very expensive component of EA. Maybe not in like the grand scheme of like billions of dollars, but that still is a sizable chunk of change, and I think they're going to be checking under every single cushion on the sofa, looking for any way of finding more money to pay back this debt. I would imagine there's going to be even more excessive microtransactions, just desperately trying to claw into your wallet to get you to spend money in their games, and I think there's going to be layoffs and studio closures.
I don't necessarily know if they need to like giga up the microtransactions. This is maybe why I'm like a little less worried than Charlie is, and I think it's also because I've seen EA's financials. I mean, here's the thing. The very easy thing for EA to do. Yes, they can close studios, but if they just double down on sports, which they've already been doing with FIFA, they've already been trying to bring more soccer talent over to the Middle East. That's what this aligns with me on. This, to me, this aligns on this looks like FIFA. This looks like FIFA and soccer games, football games. This is what this it actually signals to me. And the thing is that I don't know when their due date is for paying off this debt or anything, but like that's the whole point of debt is like you have it for a while. They're not going to be scrambling to make money on this right away. I think they have time, and I'm not going to be too surprised if.
I know, again, EA is very famous for gutting studios. So I think that now with this 20 billion debt on the plate, they're going to be even more aggressive. That's what I expect, and I've seen a lot of other people also have that same idea in their head. It just feels like that's probably the direction EA will go. And I also saw it being reported by a lot of outlets that apparently the new EA owners are hopeful that AI will be their saving grace here for cutting costs and boosting profits. Which, again, AI, the entire purpose right now is just for the sake of saving money on the bottom line by replacing workers. So you don't have to pay salary to people. You can just have AI spit shit out. According to a report.
Yeah, so now this is something I'm not saying is good or bad. This is just something I'm observing. Here's the reality of it. You guys want like the macro take on what I really think is happening? I think that it's, first of all, yes, it's Saudi Arabia that's buying, but like there's a lot of US money involved in this. You know what this is? This is the US basically outsourcing moral dilemma. That's what I think it is. I think this is the US outsourcing moral dilemma to Saudi Arabia, who they have no problem with moral dilemmas, right? And the reality is that's also what's happening, and that's what's happening from a lot of the Chinese studios as well, where like they're way more bullish on AI and way more down to just use AI than the West is. So I don't know. I don't know if Charlie calls out this take, but yeah, I mean, I think like what you can look at this is basically, and especially in game development, how much AI will save you in making games. This is the West basically being like, hey, like a lot of our universities and talent that's in the US is like our universities, our education, our elites are very much against the use of AI for the creation of video games. Let's go outsource that to other countries where they're okay with it.
That is paywalled, so again, I'm getting the second hand from all the other reports reporting on that one, but apparently it was stated that AI would be used to boost EA's profits in the coming years and to manage a large debt load on a company that historically carried limited net debt. Now, I've yapped about this strategy endlessly, and it's clearly not exclusive to EA. Every company on the planet right now is scrambling to try and get the fucking AI and a titty twister so they can use.
Yeah, everyone's trying to find ways to incorporate AI and cut their costs. And they're also trying to do it in a way that doesn't then cause moral outrage.
Utilize it to save money. And there's going to be plenty of other gaming companies that will follow suit. Even with EA, even if EA wasn't being purchased for $55 billion with $20 billion in debt, they would still 100% be trying to use AI to save money. I'm sure it's already happening across the entire industry right now. In fact, I've got a little tinfoil hat conspiracy theory that Ubisoft CEO is actually just AI. I don't think there's a single human being left in that food chain there at the upper echelon, because there is.
This we should do another video where I talk to you guys, chat. We should do like a dev day chat where I talk to you guys about AI in games, because there's certain AI that people are really like. For instance, you guys are all like, "Oh my god, AI art, that's so bad." But like, if someone makes a video game and they train their physics engine and they use AI to create their physics engine, you would never know and you would not care. Like, there's a lot of systems and things that can be done in game development that can use AI to do those things that you will not know. And I'm not condoning that. I'm just explaining that that's a reality we now live in.
There's no way a sentient, living, breathing organism could have come up with ideas as stupid as Ubisoft has. But in this case, again, it's not exclusive to EA. They're just being a little more open about it, I guess, about how they're going to utilize AI to cut these costs. Now, let's talk about the new owners of EA. One of them being the Saudi Arabian government. Now, if you've been paying attention to the state of tech or even the state of sports or esports, you probably know the Saudi Arabian government's been getting its fingers.
True, I can't say people won't care when they aren't aware. They won't be aware at the first, like at the start. I think, you want to know my real hot take? I think GTA 6. I think GTA 6 will be the last major game made by humans. I think everything after GTA 6, and because of the sort of scale that GTA will push the industry to, just like we have the Red Dead problem. I don't know if you guys know about this. There's an issue in video games. I call it the Red Dead 2 problem, which is Red Dead 2 is so far and ahead of every other open world game that every game published in like 2024, 2025 is compared to Red Dead and isn't as good. They just didn't put as, because no one can put in that kind of attention and detail into games. And GTA 6 is going to push that to an even higher level, and that is where we will reach the peak. GTA 6 is the actual peak of video games made by humans. The only way any company will ever compete with GTA 6's fidelity, especially when it comes to some open world game, is with AI. And that's where all these companies will eventually turn to. And GTA 6 is even using AI. They said the locals will use ChatGPT to make responses. Did they say that? I don't know if that's true. I mean, like don't get me wrong. Does GTA 6 probably include subtle? Was there AI involved in the making of GTA 6? Absolutely. I guarantee some middle manager used ChatGPT to write a fucking email prompt or write a pitch deck somewhere along the line. Of course, right? I'm saying in the core of the core of the game is not like the core code, the art, everything is not AI. That is made by humans. And GTA 6 will be the last game of anything remotely of its scale that will be human made. We're basically on the press. Like GTA 6, May 26, 2026 will mark a very like that is a profound difference coming into video games going forward.
And a lot of different pies here. They've been exploring tons and tons of different companies and brands to own. And it's been going on for a few years now. A handful of years now. I don't think it's going to slow down or stop anytime soon. In fact, quite the opposite. I'm confident Saudi Arabian government will continue to snatch up tons of major brands and companies across the globe. And if you don't mind, I'd like to go on a bit of a side tangent here. I'd like to blabber a bit. Esports. Many of you know I've been in the esports space for 5 years now. Started with Moist Esports, now tricky. Shopify Rebellion. So, as an owner of an esports team, I can tell you firsthand, Saudi Arabian government wants to basically own the entire fucking industry there. And they're already getting very close with things like the Esports World Cup. Most recently, EVO, where they're the majority owner of EVO. They have infinite money. So, in a scene like esports, which money is a myth, there is, as I've said numerous times, there is no money to be made in esports. It is just an absolute endless pit of agony when it comes to financials. Me, it's fine bleeding money there because I'm doing it under the idea that I'm going to lose this money, but I'm investing in it because what I get out of it is fun. I love the spirit of competition. I love esports.
Esports is going to be owned by, you know what's crazy? We are now in a day and age where esports will come down to one of two ownerships. Eccentric Twitch and YouTube millionaires, Charlie, Toast, Ludwig, or eccentric Saudi billionaires. It's like, which one do you guys want? Chat, it's like, do you want your eccentric like content creator millionaires, or do you want your literal oil prince billionaires? Those are the two people that own esports teams now. Like, that's crazy.
It's why I had Moist Esports, and it's why I now have Shopify Rebellion, so I could expand the esports space and have more things to watch and support more players. I love it. But any business that wants to get into esports hates it because you just lose money. And the Saudi Arabian government obviously noticed that. So what they did is they put the chemical X into the sector, money. They've given tons and tons of teams, tons and tons of money to support things like the EWC and to own things in the esports space because, well, without them, they're not making money, so they feel they absolutely have to play ball. I, of course, have seen this firsthand, but have declined all of that mumbo-jumbo. I haven't been shy about it. I've told you straight up numerous times, I don't watch the EWC. I don't support it at all. I don't watch it in private. Nothing. I think that shit sucks. I'm sure I don't need to tell you, but the Saudi Arabian government's got a whole host of issues, human rights violations out the wazoo. I'm sure I don't need to go into a ton of detail into the nitty-gritty. And, honestly, just the whole idea of a government deciding that it wants to get its grubby paws around an entire industry and own the entire sector outright, that's fucking terrible no matter what. So yeah, I don't like this at all. I hate what's happening in the esports space where every organization, every
I think I agree with Charlie on esports. I think if there was more, I think when I look at EA though, I don't know what was going to happen. Like this, just I'm not saying it's a good thing or a bad thing. It's like it's more of like, oh, this is a sensible thing. I get why Saudi Arabia is doing this. I get why EA is being sold, etc.
game, every brand.
Chat, is my mic still quiet? Test, test. Hello? Huh. Yeah, it was fine for a bit and now it's quiet again. Hello? Test, test, test. Test, test, test. What is going on with this thing? Test, test. Test, test. Test, test. I don't know what setting I hit. Hello? Testing. Huh. Yeah, I don't know what setting I hit, but I fucked up something on it. Like I have to speak. I have to like speak pretty loudly.
Basically has to suckle the teat of Saudi Arabia in some way, shape, or form. I don't like the direction. Now, of course, I understand why it's got to that point because there's just no money there, but it doesn't change the fact that I don't like it. Now, we have had players on our teams participate in like the EWC because, as I've always said, we don't take player winnings, so them winning doesn't bring money back to us or anything, and I'm not going to get in the way of any of our players going and making their own decisions on how they want to like make a bag or something. That is entirely up to them, all power to them, and there's no ill will there at all. But they've not represented Moist Esports at the EWC or anything like that. I know this is a long-winded tangent, but the point is, the Saudi Arabian government is doing this not only in just like EA or esports, but all across the whole spectrum of technology and entertainment. In fact, just look up things that the Saudi Arabian government, like the PIF, has like percentages of. It's a lot. It's a ton of things, and many other video game companies, by the way. This is just their biggest buyout. This is huge. $55 billion
it is
for
a big
EA
buyout.
is big. And I do think there will be some noticeable changes to a lot of EA games and
premium.
property. I think we're going to be in an era of even greedier EA garbage, if such a thing is even fathomable.
I disagree. This is where I disagree with Charlie. I don't think we're going to be dealing with even greedier EA garbage. I think we actually reached peak EA garbage, and I actually think they're going to be... I think they're just going to be a slimmer company that probably just focuses mostly on sports. And weirdly enough, they're not going to be bogged out. Like, I think they might... This is fucked up, but it's going to fuck over the game developers. But I actually think the consumers are going to... This is the problem. The hot take, I think, here is I actually think as consumers, as video game consumers, this is going to be good. As a video game developer, this is bad.
So yeah, overall, I don't think this is going to be like an improvement to EA games or anything like that. I don't think consumers are going to walk away from this kind of deal with a big W for the quality of games we're going to start receiving here. I guess I'm willing to be proven wrong, but I highly fucking doubt that. I think it's going to be net negative changes across the board for EA games going forward. But one other thing I want to briefly mention, I've seen some people talking about EA in this story as if they're like some kind of defenseless victim or something. Like, oh no, the Saudi Arabian government, they got EA in its clutches and there was nothing EA could do. Motherfucker, they could have just said no. They didn't have to make the deal. Like, it's not like EA is the good guy of the story or anything here. Like, this is across the board just greed. Like, it's just absurd. Anyway, though, that's really about it. See ya.
I think it's more nuanced than what Charlie is saying here. In fact, do you know what I would love? I would love for Charlie to read. I would actually love for him to read like a, read something about EA or about this deal, but like not from like standard news agencies. Like it'd be really cool if he read something about it from, here, I have a good there was a really good LinkedIn article. I know, crazy that I'm linking LinkedIn stuff. Because again, it just sort of examines it more objectively. We'll read it together real quick. All right. Why the $55 billion Saudi EA deal is gaming's weirdest plot twist yet. I've been in the industry long enough to see some wild shit, but a $55 billion Saudi acquisition of EA with Jared Kushner as the middleman, that's like watching a fever dream where capitalism, geopolitics, and video games had a baby, and it can actually work for some, but it is very bad for NA games as a whole. Yeah, this is why I'm saying I think it's bad for like North American game developers is who it's bad for. Yeah, amazing opening statement, right? Like, it is also really well written. This is why I'd love to see Charlie react to something like this. Let me break down why this is absolutely bonkers deal is probably going to succeed. So this is where his take is different than, say, Charlie's. And he explains why it's going to succeed and what it means for everyone who's spent way too much time on Ultimate Team packs. Saudi Vision 2030 gaming strategy. This is the part that Charlie didn't mention, chat. Saudi Arabia isn't just throwing money around hoping something sticks. They've committed $37.8 billion to gaming, and they've already deployed 10 plus billion of it. That's more than most countries' GDP. Their goals by 2030 are legitimately insane. 250. So this is the part that Charlie doesn't read. He's only reading the headlines of the acquisition. And he's not looking into what Saudis, like what their actual strategy is. They want 250 gaming companies. They're at 45 plus right now. 39,000 jobs. They've created 8.5 so far. 13.3 billion GDP contribution, currently at 2.8. So they have to what is that? Like 6x all of these numbers in less than 5 years. But here's what makes this interesting. They're not just buying random stuff. They bought Scopely for $4.9 billion, and Monopoly Go is printing money, $3 billion in revenue, which for that deal was a complete fluke and totally. That actually is crazy. To buy Scopely for around $5 billion and then to get what is probably $3 billion yearly in revenue that's just disgusting. They grabbed the Pokemon Go guys at Niantic for $3.5 billion. They're the largest outside investor in Nintendo. Oh. I didn't know they had a huge chunk of Nintendo as well. This is why economic diversification is a scale that makes the VC industry look teeny weeny. Okay, so let's talk about what this term is. So economic diversification. So here's the thing. Saudi Arabia chat has oil. Now they're like, well, now we want oil in video games. Well, and some other stuff. They want basically technology. How to buy American without looking like you're buying America. Okay, this is where it gets really clever. Instead of Saudi Arabia just rolling up with a suitcase full of oil money, which would get shut down fast, they created this three-way consortium. Silver Lake Partners, 30 to 40% equity, optional control. They have the sports assets. Saudi PIF, which is 40 to 50% equity. And that's why if you're like, wait a minute, I thought why does it say this many billion when it was actually like 55 billion? It's like, okay, well, because there's parts of it. Affinity Partners, Kushner, 10 to 20% equity, political navigation. Silver Lake running operations changes everything. CFI US approval probably jumps from maybe if we're lucky to, yeah, it's probably going to go through. Silver Lake is 102 billion. So that's what I'm saying. It's still US owning this. Like, it's not entirely Saudi money. Is this LinkedIn brain rot? What do you mean LinkedIn brain rot? This is just linked. Like, it's just an article. Like, I worry about you, chat, sometimes. Like, you can't just use, like, it's, what half of AI is, or half of LinkedIn is AI. I mean, whether it's AI written or not, it's, we're just reading information. Oh, my bad. Most of LinkedIn posts are something else. Danasis, though, but here's the problem. In calling it brain rot, you thought it was brain, like you jumped to a conclusion without, like, this is you are part of the brain rot problem. Like, you don't, like, you got to think for yourself. Anyways, this is the other thing. It's going to be 4 U.S. citizens on the board. 4 U.S. citizens, 2 Saudi, 1 neutral. Oh my God, it's time for Roleplay Podcast. So I got to jump to this. We'll come back, but again, they talk about why it makes sense for EA, why it's also really weird that Jared Kushner's involved, but I pray to acquire this level of rage. I was one guy, but it's like chat. Like, you have to understand. I'm like, I get one guy because I'm just worried. I don't know. Anyways.